What's up, everyone? Welcome into the All 22 NFL show. This is the official podcast of the All 22 fantasy football platform. It's the only fantasy football game with full 53-man rosters, including offensive linemen, where you get to choose personnel packages and have access to PFF grading and advanced stats to make decisions each week. To learn more and sign up, go to all-22.com. Ray, we are excited for today. We have the combine behind us, and right now we are doing the receiver position, which is, a position that is probably, year over year, one of the deepest positions in the draft. It's also kind of a heavy favorite of the people. So it's something we are excited to bring to the table today. And if you've been watching our past videos, this one is going to be a bit different. What I've asked Ray to do today is we are each going to take one receiver at a time, and we are going to do 5 minutes each. At 5 minutes, Ray, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to mute your mic or something, like it's a political debate. I'm going to make sure you have to stop talking, okay?
Don't disrespect me in front of a company like that, Chris.
You got it, buddy.
That again.
You are going to kick it off, though, with Carnell Tate, the receiver out of Ohio State. He is 6'2", 195 pounds, 21-year-old junior. He's played 37 games in his collegiate career, 51 receptions, 875 yards, 9 touchdowns in 2025, and 298 receiving snaps with an 88.6 PFF grade this past season. At the combine, a 4.53 40-yard dash and a 1.61 10-yard split. So, Ray, if you are ready, I'm going to begin my timer in like a 3, 2, 1. Are you ready?
I guess so. 5 plays in 5 minutes. We'll see how I do. I'm the long-winded one. So,
I do, which is why we have a clock now.
Just tell me when it starts, and we'll get to it. We'll just jump right into the plays.
3, 2, let's get it.
All right. So, Carnell Tate, you're going to see here, top of the screen. And again, 5 plays. We're just going to, again, show trends of a player. Chris didn't do this at the upfront, so now I got to use my time to explain this to you all. Again,
I'll give you your time back. I'll give you your time back. It's a good point.
We don't do highlights and lowlights. We watch the film and then identify trends of a player to tell you who they are. And then we go ahead and highlight a few plays that basically show those trends to you and give you an overview of who the player is, their strengths and weaknesses. With that said, I'm going to keep going. We'll see how fair Chris is about this whole thing. But in any event, we're just going to run it here. So you're going to see Carnell Tate at the top of your screen here. And I'm going to start off with a little bit of a negative. I know everyone likes to start off feeling good, but we're going to go ahead and be a little bit critical on the upfront here. So you're going to see this is in press man coverage here. And for a quote-unquote bigger receiver here, do expect a little bit more. And this is something I noticed when DBs get their hand on him in press coverage at the start here. So he's running an inside slant here, and he's going to try a diamond release, it looks like here, with 3 hard steps to the outside shoulder of the DB. Don't think he actually sells vertical or kind of attacks that outside shoulder hard enough. And the DB gets hands on him. And so right here, that inside hand, if you can kind of see it here, you'd like to see him kind of just use that to throw the defender by and create some separation here. Doesn't do that. Instead, tries to lean into the defender again and try to create separation that way before the break. But it just kind of doesn't work. And you might say there's a little bit of a grab here, but for a physical receiver or one you expect to be an ex-physical receiver, you just expect a bit more from a physicality standpoint against press coverage. So we only have one angle of this. No reason to show the end zone angle here. End zone angle doesn't show much. But again, bigger receiver, I think he can work on a few things in press when DBs in particular get their hands on him. So with that said, when he's working in space, he is phenomenal at just manipulating space, manipulating leverage, using pace. And so we're going to see it here, bottom of your screen. And just keep an eye on the safety here who's got deep half. He's going to just give him that little fake here because he's defending or protecting his inside leverage. And Tate's just going to go over the top and has the speed to go up and get the ball. You're going to see from the end zone angle here, really good job tracking the ball and then just kind of finishing for a touchdown in the end zone here through the contact. But if you run it back yet again here right at the start, he's going to take that inside release. He's going to notice the safety's protecting that inside leverage here. It kind of makes him protect that inside leverage with that hard inside release. Then he's going to give another just kind of shimmy there at the top to just, again, make him commit to the inside, knowing all along he's just going to go ahead and get vertical. And by that time, he's on the DB's toes, and it's way too late. And it's a touchdown here. So phenomenal route by Carnell Tate. If you just look at the 40 time and such, you think this is more of a physical kind of, mix it up contested catch player. He actually, I think one of his best attributes is his work in space, in manipulating leverage and pace in his routes. He's phenomenal on that. He also does a lot of the little things right. I like to call this kind of like the equivalent of coming back to the football, but in the blocking sense. So here he is at the bottom of the screen. Saw the arrow earlier. He's going to block the inside defender for a screen pass here. And then just watch. He's not just comfortable just squaring up to the inside and just kind of letting the flow of the play work to his outside and shielding the defender. You're going to watch him engage and kind of go back towards the line of scrimmage to ensure that the defender there doesn't actually work or kind of duck under his block and possibly work back to the play. He's going to just take that little extra step there and just make sure that he finishes the deal here. So it's not about being overpowering or anything like that. It's just doing the little things right and just making sure that you block that defender just enough to allow for space for your receiver to work with on the screen there. So if we could run it back one more time, because I don't know how much time I have here. Again, just that little, he didn't have to engage, and a lot of receivers won't engage like that heading back towards the line of scrimmage. He does and gets square with the defender, so no blindside block or anything like that. Just phenomenally done here. It's just little nuances in his game that I think he does a really nice job with. Really well-coached player. And so we're going to see here, again, top of your screen now. And again, this is kind of a bit of a catch man technique, but he doesn't get hands on Tate initially. And when you don't get hands on Tate, he's going to win. So again, here, defender doesn't put hands on him. So he will now kind of take a hard outside release and then go back to the inside and then he kind of stacks the defender here, using his body to kind of stack him. And then you just see that little shake again at the top of the route before breaking to the inside to get separation. Ball goes over the top to Jeremiah Smith here, but you notice right here again, Tate does a really good job just kind of selling an outside fake just enough to gain that last bit of separation at the top of the route, where if it was going over the middle of the field, he has separation on this inside defender for the quarterback to make a throw over the middle of the field. So when he is allowed or allotted space to work with, he does a really nice job, whether it's pure off man, whether it's catch man, or even just press bail. If you're not getting hands on Tate, he will go ahead and he will dictate the terms of the rep to you. So a phenomenal sort of job again in space. And so now I'm going to end it again kind of with a negative. So typically you like to kind of, bookend bad or, kind of negatives with compliments. I did the reverse here. We're going to end on a negative here. He's a wide receiver. So again, in the blocking game, this game's over. They're up by 3 scores. It's late in the game. They're just kind of running the clock out. But give me a better effort than that while you're blocking here. Just go ahead and engage the defender anyway. Send a message, if nothing else, even if the game's already over. You could be better than that. We've seen Tate be better than that, but this is kind of a thing with wide receivers. If they're not totally engaged, they'll take some plays off in the run game. And here he kind of leaves his back out to dry. So just something you see with a lot of receivers. You see it with Tate as well. Just go ahead and engage that defender here. Don't just kind of, pitter patter there. Go ahead, dictate the action like we know you can and that we've seen you do before, because you never know when that could be the difference in springing a long run here just to really kind of put an exclamation point on a victory for your team. How'd I do?
You're 1 minute and 20 seconds over, Ray. I was giving you a pass since it's our first one. We'll allow it this time. We're not going to allow it next time. I'm going to cut you off, but we allowed it this time. Give us your overall thoughts. We'll give you a minute. Tell us your overall thoughts of this receiver.
Yeah, I really like him. The more you watch other receivers, the more you actually appreciate Carnell Tate and the little things he does well. Good receiver size, good frame, really large mitts, 10.25-inch hands. Like I said, really good release when given space off the snap. He navigates and manipulates space beautifully. When people talk about the 40 time not mattering for wide receivers as much as DBs, for example, and how great receivers can still run in the 4.5s, that's if they do things like Tate does, as far as those nuances and manipulating their, space and pace in their routes. He does that beautifully. So I'm not concerned about the 4.5 he ran at the combine at all. I think this is a phenomenal receiver at doing a lot of the little things. He's not the most dynamic or explosive receiver, so this isn't a Malik Neighbors type of talent, but for sure this could be, a top 12 to 15 wide receiver in the league for a handful of years easily, because he does such a great job with the little things while still being very physical, tracking the ball very well, and being an asset in the run game when engaged. Coaches are going to love this kid.
Do you have a comp?
Don't give me the comp stuff. Honestly, like, no, we'll save that for later. We'll save that for maybe for some audio portions, because I always feel like it does a disservice to the prospect and the player as well. People always take it the wrong way, no matter what. There's only one comp I have for this group today, and I'm saving that because it's a very obvious one. So we'll save it for then. But this is a very good receiver. I think, I see, regardless of the 40 time, he should go top 10 for sure.
Awesome, dude. Appreciate it. Who do we got next?
I think we got your boy Jordyn Tyson. If we get the logo
Tyson
back up there, and then you can prep for that.
Let's do it. Okay, so Jordyn Tyson, everyone. Jordyn Tyson out of Arizona State is 6'2", 200 pounds, 21 years old. He's a redshirt junior. He's played in 33 games, has 61 receptions with 711 yards, 8 touchdowns in 2025. He played 324 receiving snaps this past season with an 82.9 PFF grade. He did not compete in the combine, and I think everybody's aware of the lengthy injury history with this guy. We'll talk about that stuff later, but let's get into the film. Go ahead and hit play. Let's run it.
I'm timing you, by the way, and I'm not gonna just let you go. I'm gonna give you.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it, dude. So. I think I get a minute and 50-second buffer you got, but let's get ahead and see how we do.
We're not doing that. All right, ready?
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my own timer so that I can pay attention, Ray. Something maybe you should do.
Okay, yeah. You're so brilliant. You can multitask. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Go.
All right.
Okay, so Jordyn Tyson at the top of your screen. This is just a simple bendy in route. I loved the concentration, right? Thrown a little bit behind him. That's a really tough play. We're going to see receivers in this film video review that are not catching this ball. But what does Tyson do? But he stays focused. Yes, it's behind him. He knocks it to himself. This is scary, right? If he doesn't come up with this, there's a chance this is a turnover. It's far behind him. He adjusts, strong through the catch, gets hit by 2 different defensive backs on this and a linebacker, I think, right? And still brings in this catch, showing strong hands, good hands, and again, an ability to be physical, which is a concern of mine, right, with this player with the injury history. So like to see that on play 1. Let's get into play 2. He's at the bottom of your screen here, really close up. Tried to cut this so that we're really focusing on the receiver. I love that stutter step by him. Bad decision to throw this ball, right? But I want to see more at the catch point. Here you see the DB made a phenomenal play going up and trying to get in the way of this one. I think the reason I chose this play is, one, I really liked what I saw off the line of scrimmage. I liked the little stutter he did to get behind the cornerback, but the corner knew that he had safety help. He knew there was somebody behind him, and the safety almost makes a brilliant play on this. I want to see Tyson contest this more, right? Slow down, get focused, right? High point that ball. The safety did a better job than you on this play, high pointing that ball. Show me that you're not gonna, you're gonna defend your quarterback at every step of the way. Go make a play on this ball and get big, right? Because if you're somebody's number 1 receiver, that's what they're gonna ask you to do. Let's keep it going. Okay, we got play 3 here, right? He's at the top of our screen, and he's getting hands-on. He's not really getting separation. Again, I'm kind of asking myself, kind of throughout this film review, why the quarterback was choosing to throw him the ball at certain times, right? I think situationally, I don't love what I saw from the quarterback at Arizona State this past year. And again, his reliance on Jordyn Tyson, it tells me that he loves Jordyn Tyson as a player, and that's who he's going to go to and try to trust. But again, he's not open here. Why are we throwing him the football? It wasn't even close. But besides that, I do want to see more separation. I want to see more physicality. I want to see, if a guy gets hands on me, I'm still going to do my best to get off, and I'm going to get open, and I'm going to try to make a play. And I don't think Tyson was able to do that on this play. The DB, again, did a great job keeping hands on, getting in good placement. There was no opportunity to complete the pass here. I just want to see more from Tyson as a physical receiver, because if he's going to be a first round draft pick, a top 20 choice in this draft, I want to see him be more physical. Let's keep it going. All right, play 3 here. We got 4 receivers out wide. He is the second receiver to the outside. Go ahead and hit play. Guys up close, right? It's a screen. I like the effort. I'm going to be honest, right? Like it's not great. It's not perfect. But hey, you're showing me that, hey, I don't have to just be the athlete on every play. I'm going to force the guy outside. Again, bad throw, right? Why are we throwing it backwards so that the receiver has to come back to it? You kind of screwed this up for everybody else. But from Tyson's standpoint, hey, he shows me he can put in some effort as a blocker, right? He latches on. He has strong hands. He's forcing them deep outside. The guy's at this point 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He should be nowhere near making this play. And honestly, he's really not, even though the quarterback, again, kind of puts the ball in a weird position. So I like to see that Tyson is able to put the effort in on blocking plays. Okay, last play here, I think, maybe 2 more. Let's see. Go ahead and hit play. He's at the bottom of your screen here. Arrows on him. Good break. Another good break. Gets inside, but this is the play where the quarterback put the ball perfectly right there. Look at that placement, and he cannot bring it in. I want to see you be tough. I want to see you be physical. I want to see you not afraid to make catches like this. And that one tells me that there's still something maybe missing from a physicality standpoint. I showed you one earlier where he did it, right? He showed me he could do it. It's in his repertoire. But here, second time in a couple plays where he showed me that when contact is on him, when there's going to be hands on him, that's where maybe he struggles, right? This guy has injury history. We know it's a thing. Let's go ahead. Last play, I hope. He's at the top of our screen here, and we're breaking inside. That looked pretty physical, but he also looked pretty slow to get up, which is a concern of mine, right? We're talking about a guy that has a lot of injury history. Show me you can pop up, man. Pop up. That's what I want to see from Jordyn Tyson. But again, another physical catch. I've seen it both ways here. I want to see the concentration. I want to see him not afraid to get hit. I want to see him pop back up. It's going to be a long conversation about Jordyn Tyson for teams drafting this year. Is this another play? Did I do 7?
Yeah, dude, you totally broke the rules. We're at 5-7.
Last one here. Last one. Let's go. He's the only player I did this, I promise. I love this route. I love this route on so many different levels, and I think that's why I had to choose it. So go ahead and run it back one more time, and I'll try to be quick with what I'm doing here. But we see off the line, he beats the guy, his defender, by taking that false step inside. He immediately wins outside. The guy's in pursuit, has to catch up. Then when you turn upfield, I'm gone, baby. Quarterback hits him. He has a little bit of room to run. I wanted to show a little after the catch as well. I don't think he has that true breakaway speed. He's not a 4-2 guy, but this is plenty physical for me. I loved this route. This to me was next level. I'm a first-round draft pick route for me for Tyson.
You got another one here.
I got another play. Let's go. Okay, just run it. Just run it. Just run it, man. This is the only player I did this for, I hope. Another really good play. This to me was an NFL play, which is why I thought I'd include it. How many times is it late in the game and a number one receiver is asked to do just this, which is come back to the football, get to the sideline and get out of bounds quick and make the catch and concentrate. It shows concentration. Again, it shows that they really rely on this guy. And to me, it was a really great play. All right, I'm done, Ray. How long over was I?
6 minutes, 35 seconds is what I had.
We're basically even. Let me just give the summary now. I get 1 minute for a summary. So this to me is that long, bendy type receiver who often in the NFL is a number one type receiver. And I think this guy knows how to win a ton of different ways. This team relies on him to get the ball to him. It allows him to streak down the field as well. Lots of motions, lots of movement for him. I think this is a guy that we haven't seen the full story, though. I think there's a lot that we still don't know for this player, and that's the only concern I have, right? Besides the injury stuff. I don't know what version I'm going to get playing and play out, and that scares me a little when I'm talking about potentially using a top 15 pick on a wide receiver like Tyson. He's a player I like, and right now, unfortunately, I have him as a late first-round guy, right? Give me him pick 20 to 32. That's where I see this guy falling because of the injuries, because of the unknown, but there is still a lot to like, and if this guy can stay healthy, I do think he's a number one receiver in the NFL.
All right, 50 seconds. Not bad.
All right, I did well. Who do we got next, Ray?
All right, I got Denzel Boston, the wide receiver out of Washington, up next, and I'll time myself as well to keep myself accountable because you just, jeez, you were blown by red lights, stop signs, doing twice the limit. That was egregious. We're off to a fantastic start for 5 plays in 5 minutes.
Mhm.
I guess I'm ready to go whenever you are. You tell me when your timer's ready, and I will go ahead. And actually, my notes are not ready, so don't start that.
Yeah,
timer.
while you look up your notes again, Denzel Boston out of Washington. Denzel Boston out of Washington, 6'4", 209 pounds, 22 years old. He's a true junior, played 35 games in his collegiate career, 62 receptions for 881 yards and 11 touchdowns in 2025. He played 369 receiving snaps with an 88.0 PFF grade, and he had a 35-inch vert at the combine. Only thing I saw that he did, could have been more, might have missed it. Go ahead, Ray.
Love it. Yeah. So I'm ready to jump right in. Denzel Boston, not Denzel Washington. So 5 plays in 5 minutes. I'm going to stick to the rules here. I only have 5 plays, and
you're 10 minutes in. You're 10 seconds in. You should start going.
Right, whatever. Fine. So, all right. You got him here. The number 2 receiver, top of your screen. He's just going to run the deep post here, and he's just going to adjust to that ball mid-air. He's kind of heading towards the back pylon initially, and then just kind of adjust to cut in front of the safety here to go ahead and make a play on the ball. So a really good mid-route adjustment. You're going to really see it here from the end zone angle. This is something Boston does very well. So he's just going to alter his path slightly right there to cut in front of the defender and go ahead and make a play on the ball. A lot of wide receivers, especially big ones at times too, will just kind of drift and continue vertically here. But he does a great job of tracking the ball, just slightly altering his path without losing much speed, being able to undercut the defender here and make a play on the ball. Obviously, with the collision and such and the adjustment, kind of loses his balance there. But again, great play, great adjustment on the ball for a big receiver. That's what you want to see. That's what makes a great downfield or deep threat. Not necessarily speed, but adjustment to and tracking of the football in particular. Now, we mentioned this is a 6'4", 210-plus wide receiver here. We're going to go back to blocking in space. So you see him on the arrow here again, 2 receiver to the inside. This could be better. I'm not a huge fan of this effort, and this is what I talk about when I say I really appreciate Carnell Tate the more I watch some other receivers here. You're a big receiver here. You look like a tight end almost on film here from this angle here. Go ahead and drive this defender outward here. You're basically buying into what the defender wants to do here. The defender wants to just stay hard to the outside and funnel this player inside. Just either drive him out or up, but don't just kind of be along for the ride, which is what he is here. And his defender disrupts everything. Again, I want to see more physicality in the blocking game here. I mean, you're already beat before the receiver has a chance to even get his bearings right and make a play after the catch. The defender's already beat you to your outside shoulder. So the capability is clearly there, but I need to see it on a more consistent basis in space when it comes to blocking for Denzel Boston. So you can't just assume size equals blocking prowess. Third play here, we're going to talk about press coverage again. Bottom of the screen. Another area of his game to work on is kind of defeating the press here. So I want you to be quarterback friendly if you're this big. And if you look here, what you're going to have is a man-free look as quick as I can here. This safety is going to be deep middle. You're all alone one-on-one with this defender in press coverage at the bottom of the screen. Here, your quarterback is going to call your number. You're the number 1 receiver with this matchup. You got to go ahead and win. Doesn't really disengage well. There's a lot of surface area when you're 6'4" for that DB to get in your chest. You have to be elite with your hands at the point of attack. He's not here, and then just kind of gets ridden out, and there's no window for his quarterback to throw the football. So we only have the one angle here. For a big receiver, you have to be better at disengaging when hands are on you in press. Another area to work on, top of the screen here. We're going to go ahead and just... Hey, deceleration here, kind of choppy. You're running a comeback route, and just look at where you start to break down. Start to break down right here at like the 36.5-ish yard line between the 36 and 37. He doesn't come out of that break until the 40. The cornerback here has plenty of time to break down himself and mirror and match this and then drive on the football. So there's nowhere for the quarterback to really throw the ball. I'm not asking you to be Jackson Smith and Jigba if you're 6'4", but I need you to come out of your breaks faster than that and be a bit more quarterback friendly on those short routes. However, saying that, you don't have to win like Jackson Smith and Jigba on a route like that. use your physicality. So you're going to see here, and I think the difference between these two routes is, again, you kind of have a bit of a man-free look. The corner's on an island here with this wide split. So the threat of Denzel Boston winning downfield like he already has vertically is on display. So that corner has to really respect that and just kind of haul ass once they're even here. And then Denzel Boston's going to go ahead and just have a quick throw by using his strength and frame to then come back to the football. So you don't have to have elite stop start as long as you're physical enough and you just know how to win within your toolbox. And he can do that. I just think he has to be a bit more consistent at times in just not allowing defenders to get their hands on him at the line of scrimmage so he can threaten downfield and then win with his physicality at the top of his route instead of trying to out-athlete them after having hands put on him. So, yes, I'll give now a brief overview of the player as far as just scouting report and just kind of my brief overall thoughts. Kind of went through it here. Again, he's not the most sudden or twitchy type of player, but he is quarterback friendly, really big frame. You can tell who he is at all times because of how he just stands out physically, attacks the football really well at the catch point. I think he's going to need a veteran quarterback in the NFL to really unlock his potential in the league, because if he's paired with a young quarterbacks tend to want to see it before releasing it. This is a guy who's open when he's not open. And a veteran quarterback will know how to read the leverage and the body positioning and such and give him a chance on some of those contested catches or those tight window throws where young quarterbacks might not. So I think if you want to see the full potential early on in his career, you're going to want to have him paired with a veteran quarterback who kind of understands these things and can really use him to his strengths. I kind of also see, I think he's going to go late first. I think that's about fair. I would have him in the 25-30 range. I think overall is what you typically see from receivers of his skill set. I think he fits in fine. I'm not sure he's, again, not an elite number one player, but this is someone who could be a big asset to an offense in the NFL for a number of years.
Wow. I'm actually pretty surprised that's how early you have this player.
He's not typically my type. He's not. That's why he needs a vet and he can get there.
I want to see, like, I wish he showed up to the combine and said, I'm going to compete and I'm going to run the 3-cone drill and show you that I have lateral movement. Because I think a lot of these big receivers, my concern is always they lack a little lateral movement. But okay. All right. We'll see what ends up happening there. Who do we got next, Ray? Oh, my boy.
Your boy.
We got Makai Lemon out of USC, 5'11", 195 pounds. He's 21 years old. He's a true junior. He played 33 games in his collegiate career, 79 receptions, 1,156 yards, and 11 touchdowns in 2025, with 2 rushing touchdowns to add on top of that. He played 401 receiving snaps with a 90.8 PFF grade. We're going to jump into it, Ray. Go ahead and hit play whenever you're ready.
Playing.
Okay, so we have him kind of here in the slot, closest to the line. Just a quick route. Let's get the ball in this guy's hands and let's see what he can do. I wish that he had trusted his blocker a little bit at the end of this play, right? Stay behind him, let them develop. Don't rush it. He ends up getting caught from behind anyway, but it shows me, like, just wanted to tell the story. This is the type of kind of script and plays that you're going to see for a player like this. This is kind of how they used him. He's dynamic. He's super dynamic. So this is the first play I wanted to show. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. Again, he's in the slot at the top of your screen here. Go ahead and run it. And he's out. There's nobody really on him. So let's just take advantage of the space, right? And then once the ball's in my hand, again, I am a dynamic mover with the ball in my hand. I'm going to find space. I'm going to try to get open. But to me, the play started with the intelligence. Again, I don't know what was designed here. I don't know what was scripted. But there's so much space in front of you. They're playing zone. Just go to that space. Go to that empty space and create for yourself. And that's what he does here. Like to see it. And then makes 2 guys miss on top of that. Okay, here he is at the bottom of your screen. Now he's at the middle, and it's a blocking play. This was the best blocking rep I saw all day when I was cutting film, right? Again, this is not a huge person. He's 195 pounds. But he latches onto the DB here, and he's the only one that's left holding on to his guy, and he holds on really well. The guy cannot get off, and you'll see that the player right there, right? He sees Makai Lemon making this block, and he sees the hole develop, and he goes for it. A little bit feisty there at the end for some of these other guys. Makai Lemon's like, what's going on? Love to see it. Really love to see it. Hey guys, what's going on? All right, now he's in the slot on this play again at the top of your screen. Go ahead and hit play. This was pretty incredible, right? Again, 5'11", 195 pounds. You're going to see it from the other angle, and it's going to pause itself, so you're going to like this. Just again, this guy's dynamic, and the things he can do totally outmatch the size numbers that he has. But going up full extension to get this ball in tight coverage, you can't ask more from 5'11", 195 pounds. You really can. One thing I will say, I want to see more separation, right? This is your opportunity to run a true route. Show me that you could get open without having to do this, right? You're 5'11", 195. Use that skill, use that dynamism to get space instead of having to go make those plays. But again, I mean, that was incredible. Let's go ahead and run it. He's at the bottom of your screen here with the arrow on him. Let's get the ball to him quick again. Let's see what he can do. Open space. I'm going to make people miss. I'm going to make space for myself. Kind of the same thing, though. I wish he had trusted his blockers a little bit more on this. 44 was kind of tracking him down, so I kind of get it. But just, again, trust your blockers. Let the play develop in front of you. Stay behind your guys. That's why they're out there. But this guy is dynamic. You just want to get the ball in his hands. We're going to go to the next play here, and he is at the bottom of your screen, and it's a little release, another screenplay. And it's looking a little choppy, Ray. I'm hoping it's the last play. But yeah, it just goes to show again, like, this is what they want to do with this guy. He's athletic. He's dynamic. Just give him the ball, get him in space, and let's see him move. Just to summarize really quick, I think I still have a minute and 30 left. So I did this one. I made up for my minute and 30 that I cost you last time, Ray.
Of course.
This is a guy that plays way stronger than his size suggests, can do a ton with the ball in his hands, and can create space for himself. He has plus blocking skills, but needs to develop more of a true route tree to become the separator that I think he can become. He's also not currently in the position to be a number one type X receiver at the NFL level. This is a guy I want in the slot. Are you really drafting that guy with a top 20 pick in today's NFL? It really often isn't done. This reminds me of the draft with the Zay Flowers, the Jordan Addison. Those guys ended up going in the mid-20s. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba might have been that draft too. It's like the mid-20s is when we see guys that play this type of football get drafted. I think that's where I see this guy as well, which is funny because that's kind of what I said about Jordyn, Tyson. So I have two receivers that I've reviewed so far going in that same range, and that's kind of what I'm thinking so far about this draft.
I think that's a fair summary of the wide receiver class in general when you don't have that elite top dog talent. But we still got a few players left to review, so let's see.
Okay, next up we have Concepcion out of Texas A&M. He is a 5'11", 190-pound true junior at 21 years old. He's played 38 college games. He had 61 receptions, 919 yards, and 9 touchdowns in 2025. He played 395 receiving snaps with a 78.4 PFF grade. And unfortunately, I don't have any combine information on the player.
He looked good at the combine as far as I'm concerned. His gauntlet was really good. 9.25-inch hands, 196 pounds. So there, I'm not worried about 40 times. We kind of went over that. We'll get into the game speed here and dive deeper into that. So if you're ready to start your timer, I'm ready to go ahead and do 5 plays in 5 minutes and see how well I do.
You are starting now.
Starting now. So, all right, top of the screen here, and we're going to start with a negative again. This is just kind of my trend today. So, 6 foot, 196 pounds, gets knocked off his route so the defender here is just playing a bit of a catch technique, and he's going to get knocked off balance, off kilter, off his route here, disrupts the timing. So that's a win for the defensive back here. So whatever speed and acceleration you do have is negated by not being able to work through that contact. And as we see here from the end zone angle here, his quarterback, Marcel Reed, is looking that way. He's trying to maybe hit Concepcion on the seam here, but the timing is off. And so he has to look off that receiver and then go try the check down, which gets batted away. So those little things matter, that not being able to just kind of work through that contact disrupts the timing of the play and basically ends the play. And that's a win for the defense as a result of that sort of lack of core strength or lack of strength at the catch point there, or contact point rather, to fight through that. Saying that, top of your screen again here, he's kind of a wiry player. He's got some wiry strength to him at times. So just kind of a pinball at the catch point, bounces off the defender, shrugs another arm tackle off up high to the sideline here and just gets yards after the catch. So you can get the ball to him quick in the slot. Again, he's going to be a little bit of a pinball here. Shrugs off the contact high off his shoulder there. So you're still going to have to bring it when you try to bring him down with the ball in his hands, because he does have some deceptive wiry strength. It's not always evident in his routes, but with the ball in his hands, he's kind of like a running back in the open field as far as breaking tackles and navigating space and leveraging his blocks. So bit of a duality there for KC Concepcion. Third play here, my notes are out of order, so we're going to let it run. I believe this is looking at some of his just speed and acceleration here, and he's let down by his quarterback. We're going to watch it again. Bottom of your screen, Concepcion. Get the ball to him right now. This is a touchdown. Instead, Reed goes the other way here to the crosser to his throwing side, and he misses a touchdown here. This is a 1.5 yard separation here. You put this on Concepcion, he could turn upfield and possibly get 6 for you here. He's not going to get caught on those sort of what I like to call runaway routes. When you have a speed receiver, just look at this separation right here. That's 2+ yards of separation. Hit him in stride, you might have 6. He can turn upfield and make things happen. So the numbers could have been even bigger for Concepcion. Notice this a lot on tape. He got open quite a bit more than he actually got the football. So he could be pretty dangerous on those slants, those crossers. You know, you kind of get him in motion into space, away from hands at the line of scrimmage, and he can make things happen. So now at the top of your screen, a little bit of acceleration, deceleration here. He's going to draw a pass interference penalty. That defender, that cornerback was scared to death here of the deep pass. And I want you to notice, this is how you know KC Concepcion is just kind of in their head as a defense. So again, we saw the starter go here, top of your screen. He had the defender beat, so the defender grabs on. They both fall to the ground. He gets a pass interference play. Watch the safety here lined up in the middle of the field. Okay, he knows where KC Concepcion is. At the snap, he just peeks at Marcel Reed, sees him look to Concepcion's side, and immediately hauls ass downfield. Doesn't even look back to see if the ball is thrown until well after the fact, because he knows who's on the outside and that he can beat you deep downfield and basically provide, an instant touchdown. So they're aware of where Concepcion is on the field at all times, even though he doesn't profile as kind of an outside receiver, kind of over the top player. That speed is dangerous. And the defense was was sure to be made aware of where he was every single play. So again, here, we'll skip the end zone angle. You saw that enough. Last play here. This is another thing you can do with Concepcion. Just get the ball in his hands. You've probably picked up on that by now. You're going to get it to him on a jet sweep. He's going to go ahead, shrug off the first tackle here, and then just go ahead and cut up field for the touchdown. Again, kind of like a running back in space. Just, you're going to have to bring it when you tackle him, regardless of size, or he's going to slither his way into the end zone. You put the ball in Concepcion's hands, he's going to make things happen. I have 20 seconds to spare, Chris. I think you pretty much got the gist of this player here. Easy separator, finds zones decently well, can make the catch in a tight window, surprisingly at times. His speed and acceleration can scare defenses, even if the time speed may not be so great. Quick out of his breaks to gain easy separation, but not overly physical, not much in the way of blocking. Really primarily just profiles as a slot-only receiver at the next level that you have to manufacture touches for. So his utility might be limited based on the creativity of his play caller, and his downfield ball tracking is not necessarily a strength, not necessarily strong hands at the catch point. So really good at what he does, but he doesn't do everything. So second round to me, get him in the 40s-ish. I really like that range for KC Concepcion.
Love it, Ray. Love it. And you met the time. That's the first win for you that you got today. That's awesome. Who do we got next?
I think we got one of your boys here. Is this Cooper, Omar Cooper from Indiana?
Looks like Omar Cooper Jr. Okay, everybody, Omar Cooper Jr. He is a junior, a redshirt junior out of Indiana. 6 feet, 204 pounds, 22 years old. He's played in 42 collegiate games, 69 receptions, 937 yards, and 13 touchdowns in 2025. He played in 384 receiving snaps with an 87.4 PFF grade. He ran a 4.42 40, 1.55 10-yard, and a 37-inch vert. Let's go ahead and run the film. So here he is at the top of the tree there, and he's coming down and crosses the face, just kind of runs past him. Simple, right? Let's get the ball again in this guy's hands. It's kind of a trend today, huh? Let's get the ball in this guy's hands. Let's let him be an athlete. Let's let him be quick. And he really does just beat the linebacker across his face. And Mendoza knows he's got him for an easy reception. Let's go ahead and go to play 2. He's at the bottom of your screen here, all by himself. And the DB starts running in a back pedal, and he knows he has him beat. I love this route, right? One thing we talk about as corners is you never want to give your hips. So when you give your hips, Cooper Jr. here totally knows the perfect moment to break down. He gets behind the blind spot of this cornerback and makes him really regret it, right? Look at that separation right there. There's no way you can recover as a corner. At this point, there's almost 5 yards of separation when he catches this football. So love this route. Again, shows there's really good speed, really good footwork, good ability to break down by Cooper Jr. Here he's in the middle of this trips in the slot. Go ahead and hit play. He's on the line of scrimmage, and it's a screen to him. So let's see what he can do when you just put the ball in his hands. This is what I like to see, right? Get behind your guys and let them do the job for you. He's a little over aggressive, right? He kind of trips over the feet of the big men, but he does wait for the play to develop, and he trusts them. He gets behind them, and he really just pushes his way through. I like this play. I really do. Just see it one more time here. Again, gets a little tripped up. All good. And we're going to the next play. So here he is again, lined up in the slot. You could go ahead and run it. So just a quick out, right? One of the things we talk about liking is bend, right? Not every route has to be perfectly crisp, because that's not always how you win. Sell that you're going deep. Sell that you're going to break into a slant or a corner route, and then just continue to round it in so that it is that true in route. When we see it from the other angle, you'll see the magnificent catch that he makes on this play. But in general, I just like to see that initial bend. How do you lose the defender and get him off of you? That's what he does at the beginning of this route. And then if you play from the other angle, we're going to see what he does from the catching point on this route. Right there, right? Again, the second best catch that we've seen today. But then get off me, cornerback number 1. Then we got the safety coming down on us. Get off of me, safety number 2. And I'm going to fight for the first down, right? That's the kind of effort that you want from your receiver. This is everything. This is the Indiana mentality. This is why they won a national championship, in my opinion, right? It's players like this and plays like this. Let's go ahead and go to the next play, where we're going to see he's at the bottom of your screen here, all alone on the line of scrimmage, and there's motion his way. Ball snapped, and let's see if he can block, right? Let's see what kind of effort he can do as a blocker. I like it, right? It's nothing fantastic, but he does the job, right? He gets hands on. He's pushing the person with the ball in his hand, sees it, and we're going to talk about that guy in a little bit. And again, it's the effort that we need. It's good enough, right? You're a receiver blocking. You're never going to be an all-star. But look at him square up. Look at his feet chopping. Look at him try to get his hands in the chest, right? That's awesome. Now the DB's playing chase, right? That's what we want to see. And that's all we got. So this is a fun receiver who I think plays a little bit smaller than his size, which is funny, right? We talked about guys playing bigger than his size. I think Omar Cooper Jr. plays a little bit smaller than his size. He's a sneaky kind of receiver who knows how to get open, create space for himself, and just stays hidden. He's intelligent. He knows where to break in routes. He knows how to get open. He also knows how to get his teammates open, which is something that I love, right? Again, that Indiana mentality this past year. He's a willing blocker, an all-around football player. And I like that he can do the gimmicky stuff well. I like that he can run routes, and I like that he can get open. I do think that he may be slightly overrated as an athlete in this draft. I don't know if he is a amazing next level athlete that'll translate in the next level to be like, hey, this guy's even a great athlete for the NFL level. I think he's a good athlete, right? So I think he's going to have to rely more on that route running, more on that ability to create space, go block, go prove to your coach that you belong on the field as maybe a high-end number 2 receiver at the next level. I do not see this as a mid-day 1 prospect. If you told me he was a, pick 30 to 32 kind of player, I get it. I see this guy more as that very early second-round player, like a Ladd McConkey, right, in a draft. Like, maybe you could say a Ricky Pearsall, but like that kind of range is what I see for Omar Cooper Jr. He's a player I really like.
Great job fitting that all into 5 minutes and like 5 seconds here. So, good job. I'll give my thoughts after here. I'm still thinking about your comment earlier about Denzel Boston, man. It cut me deep because he's not really my type of receiver. So now you got me thinking and questioning myself.
Well, it's funny because I thought maybe he was the guy that you had a comp for, because it's funny. The first play you showed, it was like Washington helmet. The way he broke and went for the ball, I was like, is that Rome?
Easy. No.
Right.
But
no. I saw the rest of the film.
Yes. Correct. He's not. But again, other people will love him. And I got to take that into account too, just because I may not, do best with those type of receivers doesn't mean others don't. And you can kind of see what they do like about him. And like we said, this isn't that so far. We still got a couple left. I'm not seeing Malik Neighbors just yet. But we do have, speaking of SEC receivers, Germie Bernard out of Alabama. If you want to give a quick overview there, I'll be happy to, again, 5 plays in 5 minutes, tell the people about him. But go ahead, kick us off.
Love it. Germie Bernard from Alabama, 6'1", 204 pounds. He's 22 years old. He's a true junior. He's played in 53 games, which is the most out of any receiver we're reviewing today. Had 64 catches with 862 yards and 7 touchdowns this past season. 539 receiving snaps for a 71.9 PFF grade at the combine. He did compete. 4.48 40-yard dash, 1.52 10-yard, 32.5-inch vert, and 10.5 broad jump. Tell us about this kid.
Yeah, this is a fun player. Fun can sometimes be good for you, can be bad for you, but we're going to go ahead, jump in. I'm going to start my timer now and dive right in. So first play here, bottom of your screen, saw the arrow here. Don't love the route. I'm starting negative over and over again today. I don't know what it is, but again, just he doesn't really close and get on the corner's toes before he starts to really kind of make his break and try to shake him. And with all that space between the two of them, the corner's just comfortable here. Will then get hands at the top of the route. And he just kind of doesn't know what to do with it. He's going to, again, after being engaged, try to sell vertical again before cutting to the outside. He finally gets some separation, but it takes way too long. Stutter, contact, stutter again, and then breaking out of your route. And you're going to see from the end zone angle here, watch Ty Simpson. He's looking there. He's waiting for this route. He's waiting to see if it can break open. It's taking too long. Pressure, now he's got to step up and make things happen on the ground. So timing as a receiver matters. It's not all about these combine numbers and metrics and jumping out of the gym. Pacing and spacing is important here. And this is an avenue where it looks like Bernard can get much better at when it comes to those receiver nuances to help his quarterback out. Play 2 here. You're going to see number 5. He's out of the backfield here. So they're motioning him out of the backfield. A theme here for today. They're going to get the ball in his hands, and he's going to make stuff happen here. So he's going to make the first man miss, leverage his blocking again, manipulate space, and get as much yak as he can. So again, right here, oh gosh, look at that. Just, I know I'm on a time limit here, but goodness gracious. I mean, the subtle movements there to just kind of get open and give space to yourself is beautiful. Then he's just going to use his blocks, kind of work the angles here and get another 10, 12 yards after the catch. So put the ball in his hands. It's very impressive. Play 3, end man on the line of scrimmage here in a tight split off the line. I was pleasantly surprised by how physical he was at times, kind of blocking down and kind of just washing the edge here. He does a really good job of staying engaged and, with the defender, kind of getting under his skin a little bit there, pulling a little bit of pads, but not really risking any holding or anything. I liked it a lot. I was pleasantly surprised by what I saw when it comes to the ground game and run blocking with Germie Bernard. So, and you see that they're comfortable putting him in that tight split and kind of using him to set the edge as the end man on the line. So, again, I think he earns the trust of his coaches with kind of that dirty work. You see him here in motion again across the line of scrimmage. You're going to see this a lot. And here he does use that athleticism to shake the defender here and get open quickly. I think the key is, again, motioning him here so that you're much less likely to get hands on you at the start of the play here in press man. And from there, he can kind of work in space, sells the outside, has the agility to cut back inside, kind of a nice little swat away of the hand there from the defender. And here it's an easy win over the middle for a touchdown. So you get him in space, you motion him away from hands at the line of scrimmage, he can make things happen for you. But again, off man here, he wins the leverage battle here. More of those little nuances as a wide receiver. You got to make that catch. It's a little bit outside of your frame, but many true receivers are comfortable bringing that ball in. I want to see him make that play and just kind of round out those edges of his game. Because again, right here, I got a little bit of time left. He's won the leverage battle. This defender is beat to the outside because he's got hard inside leverage, and the top receiver here is running off this corner. So the throw could be better, but you can make that play. You can make that catch when it's outside your frame. He just doesn't do it. So those are my 5 plays in under 4 minutes. And just to give a brief overview again of the player, this is someone who's not really a natural wide receiver. When you're drafting Germie Bernard, you're drafting an athlete with the ball in his hands. You're not necessarily drafting a slot player, an X player. That's not what you're doing here. You're drafting an athlete to be creative with, get the ball in his hands. Yes, the comp everyone's going to say is Deebo Samuel, and I see it. He's not necessarily the physical specimen of Deebo Samuel when it comes to sheer strength and kind of size and density in that respect. But you utilize this player the same way. Get him in space, get the ball in his hand, let him be an athlete. And then maybe over time, you kind of work on some of those nuances in his game as far as pacing and timing in his routes, because he's certainly not there yet. This is right now, when it comes to the NFL, an athlete playing football. So you need a coaching staff and a play caller that's going to allow him to be an athlete with the ball in his hands. So where do you draft that guy? Mid-second, late second, if you have a plan for him. I think he falls right in that range because he could be very exciting and dynamic for the right team, but you cannot just draft him as a plug-and-play player in just any ho-hum scheme and just think he's going to be a productive wide receiver for you. That's not who this player is.
Great job, Ray. Way to get that one in there. I agree with what you said about him as well. I was curious where you were going to have him, and I think I'm pretty spot on with you there. We'll talk about that obviously later. Looks like next up we have Chris Bell.
Love it. Louisville, Chris
All right,
Bell.
so Chris Bell out of Louisville, 6'2", 220-pound senior. He played in 47 games, 72 receptions for 917 yards, 12 touchdowns in 2025, 375 receiving snaps for an 81.8 PFF grade. Ray, I'm going to be a little bit rough, so just be prepared. Let's go ahead and run into it. So here we go, cross the screen, and it's just, again, let's get the ball in this guy's hands. He's a really good athlete. The fact that he was able to catch this corner and turn upfield was kind of mind-blowing, just because that was some terrible angling by number 6. But all in all, like, this was exactly what you want from this type of player, and I think it's going to tell a lot of the story. Hey, little slug route across the field. We're just going to drop the ball into your hands. Let's celebrate it in the end zone. Get those hands pumping at the end there. I love that. But that speed is real. He didn't run at the combine, I'm pretty sure. So not sure we have the data to kind of back that, but you can obviously see it show up on tape. Here he is again at the top of your screen. Again, 6'2", 220 pounds. He's lined up as the X receiver. Let's go ahead and see it. So DB starts to kind of walk back, right? He's giving him some space. He knows this guy has real speed. I just don't love this here, right? Like, not only are you not separating, but at breaking down at the top of your route, you had space. He was giving you so much cushion. He didn't even really get hands on you, and you're kind of tripping over yourself. You're not making sharp cuts. You're not coming back to the football. This is an easy 15-yard reception. You're big enough. You're strong enough. You're fast enough. This is like your bread and butter. Why are you not making this play? And again, we're showing trends. I'm not showing you this because it happened once. It happens. So here we go. Oh, you're playing it one more time. Perfect. Okay, we're on the next play. Top of your screen, arrows pointing at him. tight press coverage. That's what I want to see right now. Can he get off of it? Can he create space for himself? I like that he was able to come back to this football and played physical, right? Created a little bit of space for himself with his body, but still there's not real tons of separation here. I want to see a little bit more. I want to see, you showed it earlier with Carnell Tate, just being able to use that larger frame to create space and get somebody off of you. You showed it with the Washington receiver, Denzel Boston as well. Like, use that 220-pound frame to move this DB past you so you can get more space and get yourself really clean and open so the quarterback has more room to throw this ball. He doesn't have that happen here. Still brings in the catch. Next level, that's a harder reception, though, in my opinion. Getting played. He's at the top of your screen again, arrow pointing to him. Tight press coverage again. They know they can line up tight on this guy, and he's not getting off this at all, right? Like, he is stuck. Just kind of lets the DB get a hand up on the ball. Like, you're not even fighting back to kind of get a reception here. That I know Miami's good. I know they had a great team this year. Come on, man. We need more effort. We need a lot more effort out of you on a play like this. Use your body, use your strength, get off, man. Get off. In college level, they could touch you down the field, right? I thought that was clean. Get off and come back and fight for the football. Don't turn this ball over just because you're upset about the play that happened. Okay, next play here. He's at the bottom of your screen. Arrows on him. Go ahead and hit play. Okay, it worked before. Let's just do it again, right? Little slug route, got open. This guy's with the ball in his hand is maybe pretty special, right? Again, this is Miami that played in the championship. I'm running through defenders, right? Nobody's touching me. Everybody's diving at my ankles. This guy's got real speed. Chris Bell's got real speed. He's got real strength when the ball's in his hands. He is dynamic. He gets into space and he really can move it. This is the type of player that you see, but again, he's not creating this for himself. He's not running a route to get open. This is I'm just kind of lollygagging across the field. Once the ball's in my hand, which can get to me open quickly, I'm going to take off down the field and I'm going to make this happen for myself. What do I think of this player? I think my favorite guys, I'm just going to say it, right? Nick Emenwari last year, you and I watched this film and we hated it. Right? We were basically saying, I have no idea how anybody's talking about this player as a first-round pick. I'm watching Chris Bell, and I'm saying a lot of the same things. My favorite players are the guys that go to the NFL and prove my negative evaluation wrong. I think Chris Bell has a lot of natural talent to do that, right? He's big enough. He's fast enough. He's strong enough. But I need to see consistency. I need to see effort play in and play out. You need to learn how to use your body to separate. You need to be effective as a receiver, not just as a weapon. Weapons are great as my number 3 guy, but if you're telling me I should draft you as my number 1 or 2 guy, I got to see a lot more than that, than what I saw from Chris Bell, especially against a really tough Miami defense. All in all, again, with what I see today, what I know today, if I got this guy in the 4th round, I feel really good about it, right? If I have to take him at the end of the 3rd round, you really need to prove to me, like the guy that's, calling that shot in the front office, who's doing the 1,000 push-ups, telling me to draft him in the 3rd, you're going to have to do 1,010 because I don't know if I'm really trusting this as a guy that I see being truly successful as an everyday receiver at the next level, as opposed to just a gimmicky weapon.
Damn, Chris, when do we fight about Chris Bell, now or later?
We're going to do it later, but I'm excited that you have a different take on him.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I can't. All right, I will bite my tongue. I think you're going back to back here. So I'm going to go ahead and set you up with, I believe, Elijah Sarratt. So whenever you're ready, you can get going. But, I can't wait to talk about Chris Bell.
Okay. All right, so Ray, I actually did an extra receiver with Elijah Sarratt. So I actually was hoping we could kind of blow off the 5-minute rule, and you and I can actually just have a fun conversation about this. This was an extra bonus, and I know that you had said to me, this guy belongs to be in the conversation. That's why I did it, because I said, all right, if Ray's thinking this, we can't just leave him out of the episode, right? Let's have a conversation. Elijah Sarratt, Indiana receiver, 6'2", 213 pounds, a 22-year-old senior, played in 40 games at Indiana, 64 receptions, 824 yards, and 15 touchdowns in 2025. On 366 receiving snaps, we saw an 86.1 PFF grade. Ray, let's run the film. Let's just have a good time talking about Elijah Sarratt.
All right, let's do it.
So first play, he's at the top of our screen here. And I did this one because I think this is a pretty true to what he's going to have to do at the NFL level, which is let's do deep comebacks and use your frame to get space, right? Let's get this guy off of me. Let's come back to the football and let's create space with my larger frame. What do you think about this?
Dude, I love it. So just the way he positions his body and really shifts his weight. I mean, right here at the top. So again, the defender's going to stay. Defender's trying to get chest to chest here, right, and kind of ride him out. He's going to use his strength and weight to just kind of lean into the defender and then decelerate here to give that nice window for Mendoza, who puts it on the money. Of course, this is why he's in the conversation for the number one pick. But it's just the nuance. He's not Terrell Owens physically, where he can just kind of run like a horse and is just built, 6'2", 220 plus and just kind of just physically dominates everyone else. No, but I mean, that is such high level quarterback friendly stuff here. Mm-hmm. I'm smitten with plays like this. And I didn't know which handful of plays you chose for Sarratt. So this is just, I've studied this game before, so I've seen this before, but like, I can't say enough about how quarterback friendly this is and how big of a fan I am of just the nuances of his route running like that and coming back to the football.
I wanted to call out as well. So when I played football in college, my coach would show us Oregon cornerback tape for us to learn from. These are the best cornerbacks, technically sound cornerbacks that there are, right? Like that's why I chose this game, because I wanted to show how somebody like this is treating some of the best cornerback talent in the world. So that's play one. Let's go ahead and go to play two. Here we are again, lined up really tight, a press coverage at the 20-yard line. And is this also going to be a trend? If you're not going 10 yards down the field or 20 yards down the field, are we going to have a bit of trouble separating?
Yeah, don't throw him a 4-yard hitch in tight coverage. No, I don't want you doing that with him because he doesn't have the opportunity to really. That's not his game. He's not a phone booth receiver. He will work in the phone booth down the field, but you gotta give him a chance to kind of square up here. This is almost like that Drew Aller play where they kind of just hit the tight end in the flat right away on like 3rd and 4, and it's like, just why? This one, I don't love. I mean, the look is just not what you want. I mean, it's tight press coverage here for a 4 or 5 yard hitch. I just don't love the play. I don't think he's really put in his position to succeed. But again, even so, he's still going to be physical. And if you're the quarterback here, you want this ball thrown low and away, given the leverage and positioning of the defender on this hitch. You don't want to throw it to the inside like he kind of does here. You see Sarratt kind of working back towards the corner here. That's not where you want the ball. I still think Sarratt does an okay job, as best as you could do in, 0.7 seconds on this hitch route here, to try to give the quarterback here some sort of window if it's thrown low into the outside as best he can. Instead, it's a little bit inside and it just leaves no chance. So I don't love the play. It's not what showcases what's best about him, but even so, I still think he did what he realistically could have done to try to make this work.
Absolutely. I think my fear, right, is, are we looking at a guy that's going to push that Mike Evans kind of play style and be that kind of a receiver? Or are we seeing somebody that has more J.J. Arcega-Whiteside in him, which is,
oh my gosh,
not going to be, my athleticism is not going to translate at the next level with lateral speed that is needed. I don't know. Sometimes I see both, right? And I want to talk about it, and let's kind of play the tape. So this third play here, bottom of your screen, arrows on him. DB's kind of giving him space. He's walking away. He's showing a quarter zone. But then he comes up. It's man, and he still beats him across his face. I like this route, right? It shows body control. Shows that extra skill and strength, and also a little bit of smarts, right? Let's get down. Let's get down, protect the football, and just kind of maintain the catch at the catch point.
Yeah, look, it's real simple. This is, again, quarterback friendly. I'm not going to waste any time. This backer is not dropping into the hook curl here to take away the inside. I'm just going to go to the space. That's what he does. Just quickly make myself available to my quarterback. If this cornerback wants to get cute and try to disguise what he's doing, okay, congratulations on your disguise. I already made my break and now I beat you. You hooked my hip there, but whatever, still made the catch. He's a no-nonsense receiver. He doesn't have time for games. You want to play games, number 7, that's fine. I'm running my route. I'm getting into space because I see the space here, so I'm not going to waste any time, make myself available, first down. Why play games? Why play games?
No games played on this one. Go ahead. Let's go to the next one. Top of your screen, another tight press kind of coverage showing, man, can I beat you with my size? This is what concerns me a bit, right? I think he was really hoping for a flag here. The guy really latches on at the catch point. I don't think they threw it. They should have, right? They probably should have thrown this one, but I still want to see you separate. I still want to see you be able to push, get a little space for yourself, use that big frame to box out. That's kind of where I'm standing.
Yeah, I think if I would change one thing here, it should have been a flag on Brandon Finney. But what I would change right here, so if I pause this right here, I get he's kind of going for the ball, but at the top of this route before here, use this inside hand to try to disengage or throw the defender by. Because if he still is holding onto you and grabbing onto you, and you are trying to throw him by, it's just going to be that much clearer of a tell for a hold to the ref, and you're going to get that call. I think he should have gotten it regardless, but if you can really just use that inside hand and just kind of show force and try to throw the defender by while he's latched onto you, then at that point, you're going to basically be tugged all the way to the ground forcefully, and they're going to have no choice but to throw a flag. So it should have been a flag regardless, but there are things he could have done better there.
Agreed. All right, so here we see him in a slot position off the line of scrimmage. Let's see what they do. Okay, they motion him out. Now he's the wide guy, still off the line of scrimmage. He's in space. It's just another quarterback-friendly, let's get open, let's get out. And actually, I'm going to show you a little bit after the catch as well, right? I don't think this is the most dynamic athlete that we've seen, right? Definitely not today. But I like to see that he can get open this way. Again, it's not always about those sharp routes and those crisp routes. Sometimes that actually sells the cornerback and tells you what he's doing too quickly. Instead, let's make a nice little rounded route. He doesn't know if I'm going deep. He doesn't know if it's going to go to the corner, and I end up going to the sideline. That's a great route. That's a ton of space that you got in separation. And then an arm tackle is never going to bring me down. So I'm going to be able to get another 5-10 yards after the catch. This is what I see him being successful at the next level.
Yeah. If you're going to protect your inside leverage that hard, okay, fine. Thank you. I'll go ahead and take the outside. Remember, take what the defense gives you, not just about quarterbacks. I said it last episode. It's every offensive position on the field. All right. You're going to give me the outside because you've turned your hips now and you're protecting inside leverage here. Fine. Look at this. I'm quarterback friendly and making myself available. And now I'm going to cut back inside, use your momentum against you. And look at that, 15 yards. Sometimes it's just that simple. It's not that complicated.
All right, we're at the next play here. Bottom of your screen, out wide on the line of scrimmage, and we're going to see a bit of burst. And again, like that to me, this is so NFL, right? Like it's that, again, you're my trusted guy. The game's getting late, and I need to just get past the sticks, keep things moving, get out of bounds. Another rounded route, which I like in this situation, gives you space. He doesn't know what to do, and he has to keep respecting deep. He's opened his legs. I'm cutting and I'm beating him, and I get to the sideline. Like that's NFL. That's what teams do. That's what Tom Brady wants every single drive, right? Like that's it.
Yeah, you're noticing the routes are starting to look the same, meaning look at his posture. He doesn't come out of his stance and is like, kind of super low, like chest over toes and really kind of selling vertical and everything. It all looks the same. There's no change in his posture until he's already made his break. It's really hard for a defender to get a read on where you're going if you're not changing your level as a receiver in your route. If everything is just looking the same the entire time until it's too late for the defender, that's really hard to defend. And he's just so adept at that. And this is just another example of that. Just easy 10 yards.
And you see it as well. Like once that cornerback starts to turn his hips, that's when the break gets made. Like watch how seamless it is right there. He sees it's open and now I'm cutting, right? Like it's just perfect. All right. Going to the next play, bottom of your screen at the bottom of the triangle, right? And it's a quick in and then a quick out. That was so smooth, right? I talk about it. Maybe he's not the best athlete, but this shows me he has such good understanding of how to play the wide receiver position and what he needs to do on each route to be successful. It's perfect. It's what you want. Guy guesses, I'm going to beat you outside. And then again, like, can I do a little bit after the catch? Yes, I can. That's awesome to me.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Brandon Finney here, the corner, this looks exactly like you'd expect. You'd expect to be kind of rubbed off here to give him space on the slant. He knows that. So, okay, fine. Nope. Whoops. Never mind. I'm running the whip. Yeah. It doesn't have to be super quick. Again, friendly. He's just so friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Probably as a person too.
What's that?
Probably as a person too. I would assume.
Oh yeah, dude. I heard his pickup lines are crazy. All right. So here he goes from motion. Takes a screen. And can he be a good athlete? Can he make space? Can he create for himself? Great blocking, right? It all developed. This Indiana team, like, look at the timing of this play. You talk about coaching. Like, that's perfectly executed to one of your most intelligent receivers, and he takes it upfield, right? Perfect blocking, sees the crease, great blocks, and gets an extra 30 yards out of this play. Like,
yeah,
a lot to
waste no time. Okay, boom. I see the seam, and I'm just going to go for it. Not a 4-3 guy. He gets caught, but waste no time, and that's just as effective.
I think I just showed it from this other angle to kind of show just, again, watching the play develop. You see that space there. He sees it, right? It's immediate, and he just takes it. And he is an athlete. Like, he is an athlete. I've been bashing his athleticism. This guy is an athlete. And then I think this was the last play I picked for this one, Ray. And it was really just, again, like, can I win like an NFL player, right? How many times do you see that in an NFL game? And how well executed is this play? And how is the timing that perfect? It's perfect.
Yeah. And it's not a push off. You don't see his arm extended. I mean, it's just as effective because he's using his body weight and he's using his hands, but he doesn't push off. And going back to kind of that hitch from earlier, that ball to the outside shoulder, he's making the outside available to the quarterback. And this time Mendoza puts it right on the money. This was, I believe, the game-winning touchdown too against Oregon. And it's just big-time players make big-time plays, big-time games. Shout out Santana Moss. Huge fan of Elijah Sarratt.
Yeah, me too, man. And I think that's all I had for him. So just a quick summary from me, like, again, just super interesting prospect in that he already plays like such a pro with so much nuance to his routes. He moves really well to create space without having top speed or top athleticism. He's a plus blocker. I don't know how well that athleticism is going to kind of convert at the NFL level when you're facing man coverage. That's what I worry about, right? But against zone, I think this is a real zone beater kind of player. And I think just intelligence-wise, if he goes to the right situation, this is a real winner. And I really like this player. I definitely have concerns, though, about how well he's going to separate, especially against man. What are your kind of overall thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think he can be your number one. This is a player that the old school Patriots would just love because he doesn't jump off the screen at you as like this sort of superstar talent that just is dominant physically or anything of that sort. But he's just annoyingly good at all the other little things. And you just kind of look up and next thing you know, it's been a 9-play drive where they've converted 3 first downs because, just ho-hum 6-yard routes that were past the sticks. I think he's that type of player. I think he's a very good number 2 receiver in the NFL who's not going to break the game open and get behind the defense and, just kind of win that way. But he's going to be a quarterback's best friend in the NFL. He's going to do all the little things right. He's going to eat up zone coverage. He's just a pro's pro already. I can't say enough about this player. The only negatives are he's not just, super dynamite, number 1 elite level athleticism type of talent, but everything else he does so well as a wide receiver. He's going to be a starter for a long time as just an extremely quarterback friendly player, in my opinion. This is a player who does everything right. The athleticism concerns are there, and that's why he'll never be sort of the top flight guy or anything like that. But man, he's going to be annoying for the opposing team and opposing defenses because of everything else that you just don't see. Like you have other receivers to kind of deliver the knockout punch. This guy is just going to jab you over and over and over again, and that's just as effective over time.
Where are we taking this guy, Ray?
I would take him early second round. I would take him in the top half of the second round. The only reason he's not a first rounder for me is because I'm a ceiling chaser, and he doesn't have that ceiling. But at the same time, if you wouldn't have a hard time convincing me that he could go in the first round. I think he's that type of he's just a good player. You're going to draft him and you're going to get a good player for a very long time.
I was thinking
kind of what this is about, right?
100%, man, 100%. And I was trying to think about to myself and say, who is the last first round receiver that wasn't a great athlete? And I don't know if there has been one in a few years, at least, right? And you think about like a Cooper Kupp, who I remember, right, like broke all the NCAA records for receiving. And I think he ran like a 4.7 or something. And he goes in the third round. And we all know, like basically one of the best receiving years ever Cooper Kupp has had. And I think about that and I say to myself, like, could Elijah Sarratt follow that, where he doesn't end up being a first round pick? Maybe he's late second, early third. But he ends up being like just a phenomenal player for a team. And especially like you think about Cooper Kupp goes to Sean McVay offense. It's like, it doesn't really get better than that. Like with Sarratt, I would hope something similar, right? He goes to an offense with a coach that knows how to maximize a player like this. If that happens, the ceilings, I think there is a high ceiling.
Yeah. Not the theoretical high ceiling that you're used to, but the production is going to be there. He's going to be very productive.
Agreed. So, Ray, do you want to talk about these players now? In summary, do you want to save that for another day? I'm taking your lead.
I'm not sure we have another day, Chris. I think we got to do it.
Wow. Okay. Who's your receiver 7 of this group?
Oh, damn. I didn't rank him, Chris. Don't do that.
That's how we have to have this conversation. It's how it has to start. Do you want me to do it? And then you can kind of...
You do
all right.
It. Yeah. Okay.
Chris Bell is number 7 for me.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, Chris. Tell me summarize for the people why Chris Bell is number 7 for you.
Yeah, let's take a step back. Audio only listeners, thank you for joining the All 22 NFL show. If you didn't join via YouTube, right, there is a YouTube video where we review the top 6 wide receivers of the NFL draft. We did 5 minutes and 5 plays for each prospect. So really quick kind of hits so that you could get a good summary of who these people are. And now we are going to do kind of a ranking and full discussion about them. And I think we're starting it off with Chris Bell, who I have as the bottom of this list. I had him at number 6. So in summary, 6'2", 220-pound senior, right? I talked about how when we did the film review, this is a guy that when the ball is in his hands, he's Deebo Samuel-esque, right? Like this is a guy that's thick, he's strong, he's fast, he's explosive, he's dynamic, he moves well laterally with the ball in his hands. But when the ball's not in his hands and he has to run routes, when he has to separate, when he has to give himself space, when he has to fight for the ball, I saw him fail over and over and over again at that type of play, which to me is the most important part about being a receiver in today's NFL.
Damn, Chris. All right. I had Chris Bell. So here's the thing with Chris Bell. He tore his ACL in November. So he's probably going to miss all of 2026. I hate that stuff. I'm extremely conservative when it comes to these injuries. I get concerned about the long haul with that. Even if it's just one ACL, everyone says, it's not what it was in the 90s. And yes, that's correct. But they don't always come back the way they should or the way you want them to, or to 100%. It just doesn't work out that way. Don't know the particulars, or there's no way of knowing how that will affect him. However, and this is why I have such an easy out. So I could just be bold and then just blame the knee if it doesn't work out. Pre-injury Chris Bell for me was wide receiver 4. And I would have had no qualms taking him in the first round. Wow. Here's the thing that separates him from me. He's big. Yes. He's fast. Yes. The yards after the catch. The only players I see that from in this class at that level are 190 pounds, 195 pounds, 185 pounds. This is a player who is like 6'2", 220. This is a legit X-sized receiver who can get yards after the catch with his ball in his hands as effectively as those little slot as those slot players, as those, jitterbug type guys. He's those guys, but plus 40 pounds with the ball in his hands. That is so unique to me. I can work with, hey, here's how you got to work with your hands and your and strength and everything at the top of your route. Here's how to be a receiver. I can't teach anyone else in this class to be you physically. I just can't.
Do you remember a guy named Laviska Shenault?
Oh, don't do that. No. He's better than Laviska Shenault.
Are you sure? In what way is he better?
He's just more effective with Laviska Shenault. What made him great didn't translate as effective. He couldn't do that to NFL defenders. He can't just blow by them with speed and force at that side. This is different. Like, I know it seems similar and sounds the same because they're big and they're fast and they're strong, but
it's all after the catch. It's all about being the player after the catch.
But Chris Bell can work himself. He can work himself open over the middle of the field on some of those crossers. Laviska Shenault never could. Laviska Shenault had to just catch it on a screen or a smoke, and that was it. He couldn't do anything else. Chris Bell
I showed you 2 receptions where he did that, and that's exactly what happened. It's a slug.
I know that. I get that. But what I'm saying, what I'm saying is Bell can do that. Shenault can't or couldn't. And Bell can go deep. Like, he's not nuanced, but he can get behind you on a go, and you're just in trouble. And you can't even do the thing where you stop him for a PI because he's so big and powerful. He's just got so much force downfield. Shenault could never do that. Shenault was just, I have to throw. Like, you can't be moving when I throw you the ball because then you just look uncoordinated. Like, it just doesn't look good. Okay. I'm so sad I'm so sad with this injury. I think he could have skyrocketed up the boards. And I think what would have happened, here's what I think would have happened with Chris Bell if he were healthy. He would have skyrocketed up the boards. And then people would have had unrealistic expectations for him in year 1. And people would have been disappointed. This is still a guy who needs some time to reach that ceiling because he is not a nuanced route runner. He doesn't have the Carnell Tate type of feel for a lot of things. So he probably would have been unfairly negatively judged after year 1, after people took it too far in the positive direction. But after a couple of years, I think he could have gotten there with the right system and the right coaching, and he could have been a star. He could still be a star, but obviously the injury just changes the math on everything, and he's probably going to miss it the entirety of his rookie year. I don't love to see that starting behind the 8 ball so early on in your career. It does not bode well, but to be fair to the player, as if he were healthy, I would have had him behind the, Tate, Tyson, Lemon 3, however you rank them. He would have been right there for me before Boston or anybody else.
We reviewed 9 receivers.
Yeah, 9.
Oh, 9. Okay. So he's 9 for me. That's crazy. Okay. So he's 9.
Insane. Okay.
And I don't know if you want to throw one out. If not, I'll try to continue this thing.
No, because I worked from the top down and I got to 4 and then just started fighting with you. So you just keep going with 8.
All right. I have 3 guys in a tier. That's like the next tier. So I would guess that would be 6, 7, 8. And they're different style receivers. But to me, I think the way I'm doing my rankings is like most likely to be a very successful receiver at the next level to least likely. And I don't want to say least, but like less likely. And to me, unfortunately, it is 3 of the receivers that you showed today, which is, I think, Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion, and Germie Bernard are the 3 guys I would have next. So you did the film review. You tell me about them, tell the people about them, and then we'll debate it. And tell me if you agree with me.
I mostly agree with you. I agree with you in principle. So it was Bernard, Concepcion, and who's the 3rd?
Boston.
Okay, so I'm glad you kind of have it that way because I have those 3 grouped in my quick back and napkin rankings that I did literally right now. So I'll start with Germie Bernard. This guy's just not a wide receiver. He's an athlete playing football. You have to get the ball in his hands, and then he can make things happen. But route running, pacing, he's not a wide receiver. He's not quarterback friendly at all as a wide receiver. He's quarterback friendly, catching screens, taking the ball, handoff on some sweeps, that sort of thing. He's not going to run routes and just gain easy separation. He just does not have that nuance to his game. I do think he got better over the second half of this past season at some of those things overall. But he's still not there at an NFL level as a pure wide receiver. You're going to need a creative offensive mind. This is a very situational dependent type of player. He goes to the usual suspects, a McVay offense, perhaps a McDaniel offense, and one of the Shanahan disciples. You should probably pay attention to him because then he can make things happen because they know what to do with players like this. They know how to maximize talent and athleticism like this. Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston I have right above him. I think Casey Concepcion, I'll just do him next. He's a bit more similar in that he can take sweeps. He can kind of do a lot of the yards after catch things. What makes Casey Concepcion be ranked higher than Bernard for me is he can do some of the wide receiver things well. He can run routes downfield and scare the defense. He can make some catches in traffic and kind of make things happen after the catch. He's got some wiry strength to him that's a little bit deceptive, but his timing's not great either. He's not the most nuanced kind of guy. It's not what he was asked to do either. So they both are kind of in that same mold, but Casey Concepcion does more as a receiver to me than Germie Bernard. And then you have Denzel Boston, 6'4", 212. Again, really big frame, who is really good with tracking the ball down the field. I think he's a vertical threat who can also kind of body defenders on some of those comeback routes, but everything that will work for him will work off of the vertical game. The threat of him winning downfield is what will allow him to win routes short and in the quick game, because he does not have the athleticism or kind of that agility to win early and get easy separation on his own. So he's kind of a deep to short receiver in that respect. And I don't love the profile of those players. When they hit, they're fantastic. When they don't, it looks pretty bad. It looks like who's the guy that the Vikings drafted from Ole Miss that everybody thought was the next Des Bryant, and he just wasn't. Guys like that. The NFL is littered with big receivers.
Dotson?
No, not Dotson, but he's better than Dotson for sure. I don't want to insult the player like that. But the NFL is littered with big receivers who just didn't have that sort of just gangly nature to their game and frame that allowed them to win in the NFL. He could be that, but he's better at what those guys were good at. Could he be a lesser Nico
Treadwell?
Yeah, Laquan Treadwell. Yeah, like guys like that. And he's much more nuanced than Treadwell ever was. But, NFL sees size and they kind of get enamored with that. I think he could be a lesser Nico Collins. He could be. If he hits, that's what he's going to look like. But there are things there that are dangerous. And this is why I don't like receivers like this mostly. So just by you checking me at the start of the film review portion of this episode, probably already am just moving him down my board a bit even more, because I think I'm the type of evaluator, right? I would rather miss on someone who hits than take someone who's a miss. I'd rather kind of shrink the funnel a bit more than let too many in on my board, if that makes sense. So to try to be fair to the player, I try to see what other evaluators like about him and what they love about his game and why it could work. But Denzel Boston still scares me. So I have those three in a tier, probably Boston ranked higher than Concepcion, then ranked higher than Bernard. But they all scare me, but they all could hit in the right situation.
Awesome summary. Bernard, I have kind of the exact same notes. I think he is the athlete that you want, but he just doesn't know how to play receiver yet. And at the NFL level, like that to me is like your wide receiver 4, right? You kind of get him into packages and you start to move him into it because you want the athlete on the field. You absolutely cannot have an athlete like that as an everyday starter. So to me, you're not taking that guy that early, right? Like if you decide to take him in the third or fourth round, to me, that might be early for a guy that's a rotational piece in the beginning, right? So you really have to trust that upside is there. I'm not sure I'm doing that. Then Concepcion, I do actually like this guy, right? Like I do like what he brings. I just think that the ceiling is there for him as like a wide receiver 3. Like that's the kind of player. If he ends up a wide receiver 2 one day, awesome. To me, this is more of a true wide receiver 3, but that's useful, right? Like there's more use to that than there is for Bernard. But then obviously Boston, which you talked about, I think that there's a lack of athleticism there as a lateral mover that, like you said, he's going to have to work on kind of a straight line, right? Like you either win deep, you win short. I don't know if you're winning intermediate routes and you're running intermediate routes with this guy. And again, like how valuable actually is that for an NFL team? Are you going to use a day 1 or 2 pick on that? Maybe end of day 2 for me. You had him as a late first round pick, I think. I have him more as like a early third round guy. That's kind of what I have on Denzel Boston. Then I guess the next tier for me, or actually I'll just go next guy because I think that's where I'm at now. My number 5 receiver, right? We're at 5, is Elijah Sarratt. And I know we kind of gushed over him and we talked about all the things he does really, really well. We think he's going to be so quarterback friendly. This is a guy, again, senior, 22 years old, 6'2", 213, so a bigger bodied guy. He wins with intelligence. He wins with nuance in route running. He knows how to create space for himself and for others. He's a good blocker. He's a guy that I think will be on the field every single down for a team. But while I think he's going to be extremely productive, there is a part of me that is still very worried that the athleticism is going to be a problem, right? He's going to have a problem separating. He's going to have a problem being a true difference maker against real top cornerback talent at the NFL level. I still really like him. I still think he's worth, I think, we kind of agreed, maybe like a very early day 2 guy, second round pick, early day 2 kind of guy. But that's maybe where he's maxing out. Do you have him next on this list or do you have him even higher?
He's 5th for me because of just the limited ceiling. But this is, we sounded like when coaches have like favorites and they just gush about players, like that's what it is. Coaches' favorites aren't always the best, most dynamic, explosive players. They're guys like this. So like he could be a favorite of ours. It doesn't mean he's at the top of our board, but he's a guy you would love to have on your team any day of the week because he's a winning player. But you're going to need a dynamic counterpart to him in order to make it work because he's not that number 1 guy like that. But otherwise, we hit on it. He does everything else right.
I have Omar Cooper Jr., his teammate, at 4. I don't know if that's where you have him. Would you have him?
No. I had him at 9 and I really like him. I had him at 9 and I really like him. But I just...
Oh, because you have him and Chris Bell swapped.
Literally, they're just flipped. Literally, they're just swapped, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. And I like Omar Cooper a lot. Like my 9th receiver, it's a 3rd rounder for me. It's a 3rd round player for me, which is very good, very good.
I don't have 9 guys in the first couple rounds. No way. But
at this position? Okay. Damn.
Yeah, no, not this year.
You're tough. I mean, you checked me on not, well, look, like I said, I was trying to be fair to Denzel Boston. If it's me, hey, Mickey Mouse, Santa Claus there. If it was just me, like I'd probably put Boston in the 3rd round like you, but like there are teams and organizations that he can win with that just don't jive with my philosophy. So I have to try to be fair and I have to try to see that. It's kind of where I'm trying to evolve as an evaluator. We kind of mentioned Nick Immanwori, and like the thing about Nick Immanwori, first off, number 1, I think people are a little bit over their skis, even still. Number 1, okay,
they need to chill out. You're gonna drive it to the grave, okay?
Like, I mean, it's not like they didn't put him like man on Brock Bowers and just have him like, no, that's not what he did. Like all the issues that he had are still kind of there. It's just like they put him in positions to succeed in a great environment, and he's making it work, which you always said could happen. But again, I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh yeah, the point is, other people can have a vision that jives more with their philosophy and that they could see why a prospect works. I'm trying to kind of incorporate that more into my philosophy as well in evaluation. But yeah, me personally running a draft room, I would also have Boston in the 3rd. Cooper, I would have in the 3rd. I think he does a lot of the high level things that that Sarratt does well. They're both clearly incredibly well coached, and they do a lot of little things correctly. They don't really waste a lot of time. Sarratt is just so much better at all the little things than Cooper is to me. I know he has that highlight catch. He might have had 2 of them, I think, already this season that everyone's going to remember, Omar Cooper. But I think when it comes to the NFL and how they're going to win at the next level, Sarratt is better at doing those things than even Cooper is. But Cooper is very good at them, which is why he's a 3rd round grade for me, and why I think he can go in late day 2, because he's another player that you want to have on your team.
Mm-hmm.
You just want Sarratt on your team much, much more.
So with Sarratt, I mentioned it when we did the video, so I'll mention it here, right? I see the kind of like, could he be Mike Evans, right? The most team-friendly receiver year over year. He's just producing the same way. He's never wide receiver 1 in the NFL. He's never wide receiver 5 in the NFL, but he's always good. He's always so good. Or is this JJ Arcega-Whiteside, which is big-bodied, strong receiver who has straight line speed, but doesn't necessarily have great lateral athleticism to be a next level kind of separator and player, right? I saw shades of that with Elijah Sarratt, and that scares me. That scares me a lot, right? Because to me, it's like right now I'm like, he can be a really good wide receiver 2 on a team where he's not going to, be everything for you, but he's going to do the little things so freaking well, and you can rely on him constantly. Or is he not good enough athlete where that stuff just doesn't translate at the next level, and he bounces around the NFL for 3 years and then he's out of the league? Like, that's to me also a realistic possibility. Omar Cooper Jr., on the other hand, maybe the day-to-day stuff can't be necessarily as good at the top end, but he is a legit athlete. Like, this is a very, very high-end athlete that can do lots of little things well. And I think being coached on that Indiana team, being part of that offense, being a part of that system, I hope that this player learned a ton and can bring that to the next level to help him continue in this journey. Because what I did see is a small player that was super sneaky and played well in space, created for himself, but was also a good teammate, separated for others, did good at the gimmicky stuff, but also can run routes, can get open on his own. Like, I like so much of what this guy does that the athleticism kind of confirms the story for me, where I'm like, okay, he can really be a number 2 receiver in the NFL. And at the very worst, he's like a number 3. That's to me, that's wide receiver 4 in this class.
Wait, so who do you have higher?
I have 3 players higher. And it sounds like they're the 3 same players. I
mean, between the Indiana guys.
Oh, I have Cooper Jr. higher on my list.
Oh.
But I think if Elijah Sarratt goes to his pro day, does all the drills, and shows me that he is like at least an average athlete, that might tip the scale.
Okay. I'll just say if JJ Arcega-Whiteside tried to round a route the way Sarratt did, he might just like blow up.
That is fair.
Okay. So we have 3 receivers left. We're going from 3 to 2 to 1.
We're going 3 to 2 to 1. Who's your 3?
All right. My 3 is Jordyn Tyson.
Okay.
I like him a lot. Probably around, pick 20, I think is a very good range for him. Smooth. I like a lot in his game. Clearly earned the trust of his quarterback. What scares me is the injuries. It's a lot. Collarbone, knee, sprains. I mean, he's already torn his ACL once. I'm scared of the injury history before he's even in the league. And there are times where he's too much athlete, not enough bully as a player, and you need to kind of get your hands a bit more dirty than he does at times in his routes. He can make spectacular catches, but he won't always be consistent in getting open against tight coverage, and that worries me some. But I think assuming health and projecting the sort of natural progression of a player of his ability and athleticism, he could absolutely be a very good number 1 wide receiver for somebody in this league. a tier 2 type of number 1 receiver, maybe tier 3, depending on how you define elite versus, the next tier, but kind of in that range, I think is realistic for Jordyn Tyson. But again, the injuries are a concern, and just some of the dirty work plays are not consistent enough for me to move him a bit higher on this list. So 3, still very good. Like I said, round pick 20, I think is fair. So, I probably have like 17, 16 first round grades in this class. He might be like the 18th one. He's kind of right there for me. But that's taking the injury into account. Without the injury, he's a surefire first round player.
Yeah. So like I have Jordyn Tyson as my wide receiver 2. And the reason being is because I do think that like X receivers are so valuable and they are rare, right? Like we talk about this list today and we're like, hey, these guys are going to be first and second and third round picks, but they're deficient at all of these things. If that was an offensive tackle and you're like, hey, he's deficient at all these things, it's like, okay, he can't play offensive tackle in the NFL then. Like that just doesn't work. But at receiver, you can be deficient at one thing and still be an effective receiver because there's 3 of you on the field and then they shuffle guys in and out. Like you play to your strength at the receiver position, but there's not many receivers that are true wide receiver 1s. And to me, like to your point, he might be the 3rd tier of wide receiver 1 in the NFL, but I still think he's a wide receiver 1 in the NFL for a team. That's so valuable, right? And I agree with you. The injury stuff is scary. I worry a lot about this guy, surviving at the next level, but he's good. Like he's a good receiver. He runs routes well. He's bendy. And he looks a lot like what's been working in the NFL lately, right? Like those type of receivers in the NFL level have been winning, and that's Jordyn Tyson, right? So like to me, that's wide receiver 2 in this class. My wide receiver 3 is Makai Lemon. Is he your 2?
Makai Lemon is my 2.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Makai Lemon next. So this is a guy, he's undersized, right? 5'11", 195 pounds. He's 21 years old though. And he's uber productive, right? 1,156 yards and 11 touchdowns on 79 receptions in 2025 on a USC team that was mid, right? Like this isn't a good USC team. This is a guy to me that plays much stronger than that size suggests. And he does so much with the ball in his hands, right? When this guy gets the balls in his hands, he creates space. He gets to make people miss. He's strong. He fights for extra yardage. I just didn't see enough of a route tree to make me fully confident that this is a guy that's going to immediately translate. And I also don't think this is a guy that can be that true number 1 X type receiver at the NFL level. So why do you have him at 2?
Yeah. He's not that X type receiver. And I feel like everyone by now has heard it before. Well, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he can be Amon-Ra St. Brown. And like, yes, but I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is more physically imposing and kind of generates some more force, and that matters. Like I don't think he's that forceful of a player, but damn, he just wins, man. Like all the great things that the non-receivers in this class do, he does that better than them, but also does the wide receiver things really, really well. He's just not a prototype, 6'1 plus, 200 plus type pounds. He's just a smaller stature, and it's not terribly, 5'11", 195, whatever. Like it's fine. It's okay. It's fine, but it's not next level. And I think that bumps him down a bit. So I get it, but wherever he goes, he's going to be successful because, again, if you want to be creative and get the ball in his hands, he will be fantastic at that. If he's just limited to wide receiver things, he will gain the easy separation that he needs to gain as a receiver in his routes to win that way. So I think the floor is just incredibly high with Makai Lemon because he could win every which way. He just doesn't have the prototype physical dominance and strength that others might be looking for as in a top wide receiver in the class. But hey, man, you draft him, and that's a winning player. That's a heck of a winning player.
So he actually at the combine was 192 pounds. So he's 10 pounds lighter than Amon-Ra. which is considerable, right? Like at the NFL level, that's considerable. And also like you showing up to your combine, you're probably putting on a little bit of weight. People also forget Amon-Ra's dad is like a bodybuilder and has these dudes doing like insane workouts. Like, I don't know if Makai Lemon is that. To me, he's kind of like fun size Amon-Ra and fun size Puka Nacua. Like he gives shades of that. Like it reminds me of, I remember I was listening to Sam Monson during like the James Cook draft. And they were like, this is 80% of his brother Dalvin Cook. And if you told me Makai Lemon was 80% of Amon-Ra or Puka Nacua, that's still like an insanely valuable player at the next level. And that's kind of what I have here, right? I kind of have that same kind of thing here. I do think the height though, right? Like being 5'11", how much are you going to be able to rely on this guy as a number one receiver as your primary kind of game plan, get this guy the ball kind of guy? I'm not sure it's going to be as overwhelming as it is for those other two guys.
He weighs how much again?
192.
Okay, he's 92% Amon-Ra St. Brown. Do not disrespect him with 80%, right? Relax.
How much is he of Puka Nacua, though? Because I think Puka's like 220.
Puka's bigger, but I just wanted to say 92 because that's how much you weighed, Chris. Like I knew the answer to the question.
You knew the answer. Puka's 216. So yeah, he's probably 80% of Puka Nacua.
Do the math. That's all right. We're not getting into that. So we both have the same number one guy.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, so well, I guess we'll say it for the people. So Carnell Tate is both of our number one receiver, it sounds like. And I don't think this is like, I don't think everybody has an agreement on this. So I think this isn't like necessarily like unanimous, but it's also not necessarily a hot take, right? 6'2", 195 pounds, 21-year-old true junior. So he's like kind of the youngest of this group too. 875 yards, 9 touchdowns in 2025, 88.6 PFF grade. But he showed up to the combine and he competed. 4.53 40, 1.61 10-yard. Like similar conversation as I had with Jordyn Tyson, where I think he wins the way number one receivers typically win in the NFL today. And he doesn't have the injury history that Jordyn Tyson has, right? To me, that's it. Saying that, like, this guy to me, in terms of like the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 draft classes, he'd be farther down, right? Like, I don't think I wouldn't give him anywhere close to the grade I gave like Marvin Harrison Jr., Jamar Chase. Like, he's not anywhere near that level of guy. He's more in the Jordan Addison, Jackson Smith, and Jigba tier of receiver for me, which is still like very good. It's just not, it's not an elite level grade that I'm giving this guy.
Yeah. And I get that. I think that's just the story of this class. They're missing that. They're missing that bellwether guy, but good receiver size and frame with large mitts, really good release when given space off the snap, navigates and manipulates space beautifully in his routes with tempo and leverage, goes up and gets the ball downfield, contested catch is a plus. When engaged, does a lot of the little things right in the pass and run game. But for a 6'2" wide receiver with contested catch ability, I expected more effort at the line when pressed, can lose focus and not stay engaged, particularly in the blocking game. That's just wide receivers, I guess. Physical when the ball's in the air, but can do a better job of shaking off contact at the break point. Can get high at the top of his route, slowing down his break and allowing defenders to key in on his routes. Not a ton of yak. Pretty physical, darn good player. Just there are those elements missing that separate him from that elite tier. When I watched Carnell Tate, so the first receiver I studied in this class was Carnell Tate. After watching him, I thought he would not end up as my number one receiver because he was missing some of those dynamic, that dynamic sort of, finish to his game. He didn't have that. Then I watched the other receivers and I was like, well, Carnell Tate does this better than that guy. And they don't do that as well as Carnell Tate. They don't do this little thing as well as Carnell Tate. Oh, they have the same issue as Carnell Tate, but he looks better doing it than they do. And then I went back and I was like, man, he's the number one name for me. So he is with his flaws, and he's very likely not going to be at the same level as these other Ohio State wide receivers in the league, whether that's a Smith and Jigba. We'll see if Marvin Harrison Jr. can get himself a quarterback and get out of the little funk that he's been in. But he's certainly not going to be Jeremiah Smith, who's coming out next year, or any of these other names that have, some of these other recent names that have come into the league. I think even Garrett Wilson, I think pound for pound, if they were in the same class, I'd probably have Wilson above him as well, just for some perspective. but he's still just a really, really good player who I think in a normal sort of balanced draft class would probably go in the teens, 16-ish. But because the talent at the top of this class seems to be so skewed towards the defensive side of the ball, anyone who needs a target, he might be the first one off the board, and that could be in the top 6. And I think most years that wouldn't be the case for someone like Carnell Tate. He could be wide receiver 13 to 15 in the NFL, be really good. That's a very good living, right? But he's not that elite player by any stretch, because even if he cleans up some of those other aspects of his game, there's just some natural stiffness there. He just doesn't have that elite level athleticism and frame that some others have in recent years. So really darn good player. But hopefully, because they don't have that sort of bellwether in this class, the expectations for him aren't unreasonable. Of course, they're going to be unreasonable, but they shouldn't be, because this is a really good player, but don't expect superstar, right? That's reserved for very few players, and they don't come out every single year.
That's a great summary. So CeeDee Lamb went 17th overall in that draft class.
What a travesty for the league. My goodness.
Nuts, right? I think Carnell Tate is 80% of CeeDee Lamb. Like, that's honestly, like, that's how I'm, like, when I watched his film, that's kind of the player. I was like, he does a lot of that stuff. He kind of resembles that kind of a player, but he's like 10 pounds skinnier. And I think the athletic movement, and he's not as twitchy either. Like, I didn't think he was as twitchy. CeeDee Lamb is different. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And CeeDee Lamb went 17th. I think that's probably where I see Carnell Tate going in an, like you said, in an ideal draft where it's a normal kind of talent level. But to your point, this might be player 6 off the board, which to me is kind of crazy. It's going to be interesting because there are so many teams like the Bills that are so hungry for a number 1 receiver. And I wonder if a team like that says, this isn't a really expensive draft class to trade up, so I might be able to go up, maybe obviously not to 6, but if a guy really does fall to 15, whether it's Carnell Tate or Jordyn Tyson, and they fall to 10 to 15 range, could a team like the Bills trade up and go get a guy like that? I could really see that happening this year.
Yeah, desperation can make you do some things. And I mean, well, the Cleveland Browns are 6th. I bet that might be exactly where he goes if he gets past the Giants. You would need a haul to, I think, move Cleveland off of that, because, man, they're desperate for offensive talent too. So
yeah, but they also pretty sure they don't have one of their offensive linemen coming back this year. Just going to point that out. So they might just be desperate for offense, which isn't great for this draft to be picking number 6 overall.
No, this is a bad time to need those positions for the Browns. If you need defense and you're picking in the top 10, this is a good year for that. Mm-hmm. Not so much on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and it makes you think of their decision last year, right, with Mason Graham, who I think is an incredible player, and I think he was the best player to pick in that spot. But it's like, you could probably get one of those type of talents this year where the offense is just totally missing.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, hey, it's the Cleveland Browns, so what else could you expect?
Yeah, exactly, man. All right, man. We've been going for almost 2 hours. I think we gotta turn it off now. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't yet, give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and X at all22_PFF, and give us a review wherever you watch or listen to your podcast, and have a great rest of your day.